If you're just tuning in for the first time, I'm Boy Drew the Charm God, king of controversial, uncomfortable statements. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Hey man, like I told y'all before, YouTube and its algorithms do not seem to be very happy with realness. You need to have some type of controversial, um, uncomfortable scenario that's divisive. My controversial and uncomfortable conversation really explains what we see and puts the responsibility and accountability on us. We're gonna slow cook around here. If you not, we ain't finna be fast. So I understand, when we talk stats, you gotta have this attention rate and people gotta be paying attention to what you're doing for so long. And some people go through charades. I ain't finna do all of that. I'm finna give you something special because I'm finna give you a perspective that you can look from. And it's gonna come from experiences. And not just my own, talking to other people, seeing it just happen in real time. And then also seeing those parallels when we see um celebrity scenarios and situations. I personally do not care about any celebrity enough to where I am going to ride or die with their character because I really don't know what their character is like. Character is something that when you know what someone's character is, it's you have to have an intimate knowing of that person and how they respond to things. If you're going to know somebody's character. Now the character that these people may portray out here in the entertainment world, that's just something that they use to sell whatever product they got. And it doesn't always align with realness. So I don't personally look at any celebrity and say to myself, oh, I'm going to say because I like them that I'm thinking that they're innocent or guilty. It don't really work like that. Uh, One thing that has come up a lot and we have to understand is right now, I don't think we have a gender war so much as we have now we're getting to understand one another in different ways, especially as it pertains to black community. But for the most part in the gender dynamics, it's very new to us, but men and women are expressing themselves in such a way that, you know, we get to see what both personality types are like. But in all on both sides, you're gonna have some great examples. You're gonna have some poor examples. Um, on the female side, you're gonna have some great examples, and you're gonna have some poor examples. And then a lot of times, you're gonna have just average examples where both people play a role in a mistake that they may make. So we use these celebrity scenarios. We use these celebrity scenarios as a way, as like a case study, so we can see what's really happening. At the end of the day, when I'm speaking to you, when I'm talking to you as it pertains to the gender dynamics, it is a man's responsibility to be the best he can and set the example of leadership. It's a man's responsibility to do that. But the way you do that is you have to set boundaries and a framework. If you don't set boundaries and a framework for yourself and any type of leadership for yourself, how can you lead someone else? How can you lead someone else? You have to lead yourself in order to lead others. That's what you have to do. You have to lead yourself before you can lead others. And if you don't have any type of standard and framework for yourself, then you're going to have chaos. How we know chaos, especially when we have children involved. When we have children involved, real family involved, and your intermediate family is volatile, that can be a problem. That's what you're seeing. We can use this Haley DDG thing. First off, I don't even be on the internet enough to know what's going on with them. I'm putting out material that I think matters to us, especially men. So I really don't know. You just kind of see it pop up on the feed. And then, one thing that poked out to me was she was preventing him from seeing his child. So before I made any judgment, I said that I was just gonna go look into this, go on with High 97, whatever Breakfast Club, and see what's going on. And they reported everything that happened. Seemingly this dude had physically assaulted her, whatever the case may have been. We don't, but is behaving in that manner, then what you think will happen in the courtroom. If you're responding out of your emotions and you fighting on her, if you're responding from your emotions and you yelling at her, calling her out her name, if you're responding emotionally to everything that she does, you're only bringing destruction to yourself. If you're responding emotionally to everything this lady, and you got to understand, you know, what type of leadership or guidance are you providing if you're having sex with her? So she just the baby mama and you're gonna have a baby with her and that's it. So you're not gonna really put no real obligation to it. Well, you setting yourself up for chaos. It's gonna be a chaotic situation. Because now you have a woman. Let me tell you something. I've said this before. Women are only having babies for men that they really want to be with. Women are only having babies for men that they really want to be with. So if this woman is going through a whole 9-month situation for you, what makes you think she don't really want to be with you? Why won't you marry her? See, you playing yourself. That's not simp behavior to marry, to get you a wife. That's not simp. And we really need to take a lot of street language and ideology out of real world scenarios. It's not simple you to be a wife. But once you become a husband, you can set a level of boundary that must be complied with. Masculinity is not forcing guidance. You don't have to coerce it. It's going to happen. When you go into the military, they got to look, you can get with this or you can get with that. But in here, you're going to operate a certain way. Well, that's masculine energy. This is the same thing that they complain about when we talk about patriarchy. Because the thing with that is men can beget order. Men will bring order. And sometimes it can be volatile. It can be violence. But you don't bring that violence against your lady. But you also need to know how to be responsible with this lady. A lot of people can't pick that up. They don't pick up what I'm putting down. See, a lot of that red pill content out here, we just cooking. We just gonna cook up. We're gonna drop the G. The inspiration is this celebrity shit that's happening. But at the end of the day, it's an opportunity for us to learn and get some real game. Hit that like button if y'all just tuning in though. Go ahead, throw them likes on there. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate that. Any like that come through, I appreciate you for just staying here. If it's a few seconds, I appreciate anybody that come through. But this is definitely an opportunity for us to get some G. You know, when you are out here messing with different women, now, not all men can do this. We have two types of men. Right now, we're talking about somebody like a DDG. Who could be representative of someone who has a lot of money, may have all of the style and things that are attractive to someone who's looking for that. Okay, he's going to be able to command a certain amount of attention. But it don't matter how much money you have. See, I've been trying to talk about this for a while because it's been mismanagement of information by having people think that a high value man is in his money. A high value man is in how he thinks and how he responds. Can he mastermind? You're gonna have setbacks. You're gonna have things that's gonna, make you, you know, shake up a little bit, but you just can't, get off your pivot. As a man, you're gonna learn how to keep going and be tough. And these are things that you're gonna pick up even when you don't have a lot of money. So money do not make the man, it's how he think. And a man is supposed to be challenged. Men are going to have challenges, and you got to get over that. You're gonna have emotions, you're gonna feel a certain type of way. That's all cool. But you have to get those things under control somehow, some way. That's the toughness of a man. And once you understand that, or once you have just an understanding of yourself and where you're going, then your interaction with women may change. You're gonna have some confidence, a level of confidence, even without the money. Women respect the truth. So if you're dealing with a woman, it's in your best interest. If you're dealing with multiple women, hey, I'm just dating multiple women right now. I don't advocate for that. I advocate for marriage on this channel. But for the sake of talking and giving out real true game of what we see in it, because one thing that women respect is the truth. They respect the truth. Hey, I'm dating multiple women right now. And if you're not that type of man, now, not every man is doing that. Some men are making women their purpose. And when you make a woman your purpose and you make her all what you're having your intentions on, that can be detrimental to you. Because what purpose are you serving? The mismanagement of your talents and who you are and what you can do can be mismanaged in a situation like that. When you're allowing the woman to lead, you defer and leading capabilities to her. You shouldn't be doing that. But even if you're a one woman's man, that doesn't mean that, you know, you're necessarily weak. But at the same time, if that's how you rocking, you have to be comfortable with it. Might be sometimes you don't have nobody because based off of how you got your standards. You need to have standards for yourself as a man. So it's never really no reason to hit no woman. Do she want to leave? Let her go. If she's getting violent, call the police. You have to have a boundary of how you're going to be operating. Now, here's what you must understand when you haven't made this woman your wife. When you haven't made this woman your wife and you've made her a baby mama, you give opportunity for chaos because you're not coveting her. You're not giving her no real covering. So she can get out there and maybe date other men. You can't get mad at that because that's your responsibility. She had a baby for you. You had her heart in some capacity. You can't manage that because you can't manage yourself. And if she had, the value is in your leadership, your presence. That's what she should miss. Money, you see a brother fall off and lose the women because that's what he's trying to attract them to. Or the ones he mess with, that's what they attracted to. The woman needs to be confident in you, in your presence, and who you are. And it'd be hard to not want to not deal with you. But that means that that means that you're going to have to deal with a woman who also can respect standards, who can also respect that this is how we going to operate. You know, men, as a man, we like softness. We don't like too much resistance. You resemble masculinity when you do that. See, we're not really experiencing real masculinity with women when they do that. That's not masculine. Her tripping like that ain't nothing masculine about that. Masculinity has a stillness to it. You say what you say, you mean what you mean. I ain't arguing no more. Because if I continue to argue, where are my emotions gonna go? Where do I put myself to feel like I'm getting into? So real masculinity isn't gonna argue. Because real masculinity has some definitive level to it. That's how we can set boundaries. Hey, I won't be doing this. I won't be operating like this. So you have to be able to hold her to a standard too. You really, hey, I can give you some limitations, or I'll extend grace, but it may be limited depending on how you're responding to things. Or I could tolerate things. I could use a higher self. See, it ain't weakness if you stand with a woman who is rebellious. You just have to make sure that you're operating in such a way that once she bumps up into the boundaries, you have to say something. She either gonna get with the program or she gonna leave. When you're in the military, they not finna ask you what you think about things. No, I'm not saying that the relationship is the military. No, I'm not saying how you deal with a woman is like the military. What I'm saying is the boundaries that you have for yourself must be in place. And you got to stand on it because you have to be that way for other men. That's a part of your protection that you have to provide for yourself, her, and others. So women will test that to see if you have some stability. Are you stable in your emotions? When she tripping, are you stable in your emotions? Or you gonna trip and flip out when things get tough? Are you gonna run? So it's in your best interest that when you're setting up an operation like a family, yeah, you make her a wife if you're gonna put a baby in her. Now, if you out here having fun, you gotta take what come with having fun. If you wanna be out there and be Mac Daddy, the player of the year, you gotta take what come with that. Not enough people talk about what come with that. It's a lot of, magnifying the management of two women and or being having a 2 or 3 girl rotation, but there are consequences of that because there's still some disorderly activity there. It's just what it is what it is if you're doing that all the time, or it takes a lot of your time to be doing that. It takes a lot of your time to be having these multiple different women. So when you look at a situation like this DDG Halle Bailey thing, it's very typical of average people when they have feelings, mismanagement of themselves in a relationship involved. When a man hadn't really stepped up and did what he was supposed to do, a woman is going to respond how you're responding. She's a mirror. You're emotional, you tripping, you tripped out, you letting her trip like that. I wouldn't be on here talking about that type of stuff. That's another thing. Those are feminine traits. I was seen, like, come see me. Come watch what I've got, man. This is a platform for information or entertainment. Now I understand I share my personal experiences. I give some of my personal experiences, but at the same time, um, I don't reveal so much and I'm not so transparent that is detrimental to me. That's a level of protection you gotta have for your kids and your old lady. So I never, as men, what we have to understand is you have to have parameters for yourself. If y'all just coming through, hit that like button for me, please. Thank you. I appreciate you. Show me some love and hit that like button. I appreciate everything y'all do for just being here, listening, commenting, whatever the case may be, being a part of the channel. When you subscribe, I appreciate you because at the end of the day, I'm here to build community. I'm talking, I'm initiating conversations, and we getting in on it. But see, right now, there's this belief that there's no real gender issue. I'm not going to say it's a war because it's really not a war, but there's a gender issue. And I think we're feeding into it, of course. We're leaning into it, and we're not really talking a lot about any solutions to it or bringing any comprehension to what we see and why people respond the way they respond. There are some men that are going to be on the side of people that we think are predators because they've once been called a predator and they really wasn't. They didn't feel like they were. And then you have another aspect where you got like, women who have some kind of trauma and they're responding from that. And so they're leaning in on in certain instances. And a lot of times what you have to understand too, as people that have gotten into relationships, that doesn't mean they have a good foundation. That doesn't mean they have a good foundation in learning when they were growing up as kids. You also have a person too. You have to understand that you got this person who has their own set of experiences. They grew up a certain way and they're going to be responding off how they were raised. Now, as men, what I'm saying is you got to know that. You got to know what you finna be getting into. That's why I'm not blaming her. I'm never blaming her. That ain't a simp statement. That ain't, oh, I'm being soft on her. Nah, because I got a program over here. And you need to fit in this program. I'm not finna fit into your program. I'm not gonna be doing what you want me to do. This is what I have going on. This is how it works. And to protect the integrity of your program and what you're doing in your framework, you got to be telling the truth. We're never gonna get it misunderstood. A lot of the situations that these men end up in is because it's a mismanagement of themselves. It is mismanagement of you, yourself, your energy to be having a baby mama and you don't intend on being with the lady. You don't intend on being with her. Hey man, I just seen this. Hold on. Let me get you out of here, dog. I don't care about no Bitcoin. We talking right now. We talking, we kicking this game. We came to kick game. I hate when the trolls come through. You are setting the perimeter for yourself as a man. But see, what's happening like the red pill community, they're discussing this and they're talking about this. But you got a lot of guys that ain't got no real flight time, meaning that why you angry at the woman? Why you angry at all these women? Why you get these women on and try to, that's how we the ones that get chose, we the ones that can get women know that that's some sucker shit on your behalf because you tripping about her. So what? She don't like you. Them the women that don't. Then go. What you fishing with? What kind of fish you trying to catch? You need to understand. Men need to understand choosing. What does choosing mean? Women choose. You finalize the choice by confirming it and saying, hey, I'm gonna mess with you. So we really are the deciding factor in the choosing process. We make the decisions. But y'all ever heard that term players get chose? That's something we say down here in Houston. Players get chose. Women are gonna send choosing signals. And what that means is really they want you to pick them. Hey, I like you. I want you to pick me. Because you gotta make the picking. So if you don't understand what type of woman you need to be dealing with, you're liable to make a mistake. But where you have to, reel yourself back in is you have to be, you know, what's inaccurate. I just seen that popped up. I was cooking. But what's inaccurate? Singles Q&A. What's inaccurate? Talk to me. I might give you a little time. Y'all go ahead and get them likes up. Hopefully this is a real question, not a bot. Y'all go ahead, hit the like button. Just hit the like button or dislike button. It don't matter. Do something. Do something. Men decide the relationship. Men decide the relationship. What I just did you miss? You must be a woman because I just gave a rundown and I could tell that you didn't listen to what I just said. You got to be a chick. And I don't want to come off as being misogynist. That's not my thing. I don't want to come off I don't want to be rude to you, but this is what I mean. Women can like me. Women can like my beard. Women can like my hat, maybe my light skin. There are women that I know like me. There are women that like me enough that may even lay down and give me some kitty cat. But she can't make me make her my woman. She can't make me, she can't do that with me. Now, there's a man that she may be able to entice in that manner. There's a man she may have a level of control with, and that's a man that I think is going to be passive, and that she's probably going to be able to leave at some point if she wants to. It's just, it's not a monolith, so to speak. But generally speaking, what I'm telling you is a man has to put the stamp on that. You can like me, whatever, but I got to ask you to marry me. Whatever my intentions are, that's on me. That's why I'm saying as men, A lot of the mistakes that we get in, or a lot of the mistakes we make, it's gonna be on you because you have to learn. Women need the stability in men so she can stabilize. We're leaders. We are going to be the decider in the relationship, regardless to the intent. If he's picking a woman that he has to serve, that's his fault. Stability and emotions. Stability and emotions, meaning when you come in the house and you tripping out, or you have a situation, or you're coming to talk to me about something, I'm not going to emotionally respond to you. It may piss me off. What you're saying may make me upset, but you're feeling a certain way right now. This is just how it doesn't mean you don't love me. It don't mean you don't respect me if you just tripping and you're venting. I'm gonna listen to you. I'm gonna listen. Okay, I understand. I get that. Hey, look, how about this? I don't have an answer right now. Give me a little bit of time and we'll come back and we talk about it. And make sure you come back and talk about it. But you talk about it with tenderness and love. You talk about it with tenderness and love. That don't make you passive. What makes you passive is you're responding to her, you're barking back with her, you're getting into it with her. You don't have a clear-cut way of handling things or any solving skills, problem solving skills. You got to be able to have that when you're dealing with a woman and you're going to take her on as a wife. And you got to be able to weather storms. And you can't be afraid if you made a bad choice in a woman and she departs from you because she based her love on you off of temperamental things. You as a man have to understand that. See, y'all don't look. I'm trying to Exactly. See, when women really come listen to me and men, they see it makes sense. But when women listen to me, they be like, it's not man hate. It's not typical manosphere stuff. I get categorized as being in the manosphere. I get red pill, misogyny. It's a whole bunch of stuff that I get. But listen to me. That's why I say when I'm on this channel, I'm a cook. So okay, see, you're a woman. That's what I'm saying. So you feeling me. A woman's gonna confirm information if it sound good. When I was on Clubhouse, I would have them in there 6 hours talking game. And they was like, yeah, this is real. You know why? Because I've had experience dating women. I know that if you lie to her, you may get your car scratched up. I know that if you're not telling her the truth, you may get a brick through your window. You know you acting foolish with her, for those that know. The issue with red pill community is a lot of brothers that ain't had that experience. And they out here talking like they have. And they talking big dog. And they talking about their money. Because what they doing is they leading with their money. I'm not gonna lead with my money. I'm gonna lead with this and this. But if this and this don't add up with action, you got a problem on your hands. All right. I was at the DreamCon. I was at DreamCon in Houston, right? And there was like I didn't even know that this was something that was going on, right? But I was just downtown, and it's like this, black event for black people that like anime, whatever the case may be. But long story short, it was a lot of gorgeous women, a lot of gorgeous women. So uh, I'm Ubering downtown. So I pick up somebody, and I'm just like, wow, it's a lot of gorgeous women out here. And the dude says some brothers came in there with with like chains on and expensive jeans and all of that, and the girls wasn't even paying attention to them. It's the dudes that was dressed up and anime and into that. They had some bad women. Where am I going with this? Women can be beautiful and have a great character. Not all beautiful women are superficial. Women come in a large array of, type of women. Now, if you like weave, eyelashes, BBL, that's going to be a certain type of woman. Maybe you into that. Well, then you got to go do that, whatever the case may be. But if you are having your character, see, like, I'm a blue collar worker. I be Ubering, but I make an income from that. I'm in school. I'm progressing. I don't mind sharing that because that's real. And you want to know something? It ain't never stopped me from getting no kitty cat. I was in the Navy. I'm an average guy. How do you think I know all this shit that I'm talking about? Because I didn't live it. I'm myself. I'm cool. I'm myself. If she don't like me, she don't like me. That's how you gotta think. That's how you gotta think. I'm going to get the woman that's good for the journey when it's time. But I can even say, okay, at this point in my life, I want to be here. I'm making these adjustments. I'm doing this right here. I don't even want to be dating or whatever the case may be. But if the right woman comes along, even in this stage, give her a look. There's ebbs and flow. I done made a bunch of money at times in my life. I didn't fell off, came back. You got to understand as a man, you're going to have moments where you're up in what's in here? What's in here and what's up here? You ain't gotta lead with that. When you're confident in yourself, and let me read what you're saying. All you gotta do is be yourself and interact when you find someone who's attractive. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Right. You don't gotta be thirsty. You ain't gotta be thirsty. Be yourself. Go out to the hey bro, if she like you, she like you. Man, y'all hit that like button and go ahead hit that subscribe button. It's the Charm Hour. I know some of y'all probably knew this is what we be doing over here. This is what we do. We talk it through because there seems to be this idea again that there is a gender war. It's not a gender war, it's a gender misunderstanding. But there's not a lot of people that's actually breaking this all down and breaking the game down. They not breaking it down. It's the algorithms. It's the algorithms. No, we're feeding the algorithms. We feed the algorithms. The algorithms are paying attention to what we're doing. But I can tell you as somebody, I've experienced a lot of these different things. And see, red pill is cringe because red pill is full of a lot of people that don't really have no game experience. They going out for the clips going viral and we just gonna berate women. Okay, stick with me on this. And this is for my ladies. If you're a lady out there, just throw 50K in the chat. Throw five. If you're a woman, I already know singles Q&A is, but throw 50K in the chat. I'm gonna explain. This is going to remember we cook here. This is a cooking channel. I'm finna nickname some shit. Hey, this the cooking show. We cook. You got to stay with me. It's a lengthy amount of information. It's a lot, but you gotta feel me. I'm going to explain red pill so you get an understanding. Because I understand it and I know where it comes from and why it is prominent. We've had to listen to the last 30 to 40 years of women saying that men are dogs, and we typically get that from one perspective. I myself, being an ex-dog, I was a dog. I was married for over 20 years. I was cheating. Oh man, I was acting like I was free. So I can tell you about the dog behavior. Now, we can get into some other aspects of that, and I'll give you both sides of that much later, but follow me. Okay, but who are we being dogs with? Who are you being dogs with? There is another type of woman that exists out there that these men have allowed them to lead them in such a way to where they feel down or they've had some traumatic experience or they have a negative feeling towards women because they've had an experience with that woman that makes them feel that way. So I gotta make it real to you because it's easy to go and just attack people. It's easy to go say, oh, red pill is this, that, and the third. But you got to understand who's out interacting with red pill, because a lot of the of conversation that I have can be considered red pill because I talk about masculinity that's in the manosphere. But you got to also understand is people that's tapping in that feel a certain way, no different than feminism. Feminism is supposed to intersect, but often it turns into misandry. Do y'all know what misandry is? It's the opposite of misogyny. So the thing is, there are guys. Listen, Kevin Samuels made a lot of sense. Say what you want about him. There was probably some entertainment value to it, but most of what he was talking about in terms of the game was very accurate, because what he was saying is this: okay, men who are making a certain amount of money, if they're going to be leading with something temperamental, then they're going to get a woman that's superficial. Why would they get an average you? That's what he's saying. And that's no different than a broke man who 5'2", he's going to have a certain pool of women. And that's just what it is. He gonna have a certain pool. You 5'2", you are broke, you not working, you gonna have a certain pool. Now, if your mouthpiece and game is correct and you're leading with lust and slanging D, you can be broke and get some women. I'm just gonna be honest. That's why the money thing never makes sense. Even when they talk about going to the Cheesecake Factory, if she like you, she gonna go wherever you wanna go. If she like you, she gonna go wherever you. Hey, we finna go to Chili's. What's up? Come on. See, if you're a guy that knows how to have fun and just it's remember I said it's the presence. It's your presence. It's your presence. That's your value. It's your presence that's your value. It's not your money. If you gotta lead with money, then I already know your game is funny. You gotta lead. You ain't gotta do all of that. Hey, talk to her, ask her questions, and find out things about her. But again, there are men that desire superficial women, and what typically happens is they get played in some kind of way. Or some men have always witnessed women leadership. This is typically going to be your men in single family households raised by women. They're going to default to leadership of a woman because they was raised by one. See, on this channel, we always bring it back to marriage. We always go to the conventional family, but we got to walk through things. We got to walk through things sometimes and get an understanding. As a man, you should know first off, I don't care how much money you have, you don't need to be creating no baby mamas. Look at the amount of dysfunction that you out there causing when you have a baby mama. I don't think you're manly because you can have 10 baby mamas. You're irresponsible. You may be a man, but you're not living in the fullness and wholeness of being a man. Because real men know, y'all come on, get them likes up, man. Hit that like button. Maybe I'm seeing it late. Maybe I'm tripping. Am I on to something? This the cooking show. We gonna cook. Go ahead, hit the like button, and y'all hit that sub too. Set them notifications. YouTube don't want this information out there, y'all. YouTube don't want to, you know what? They want us to be talking about a gender war. They want us to be talking about each other. They don't want, so you gotta like, hit the notifications and share the information. If it do something for you, if you feeling that, if you like it, if it's real. These are my experiences, but I could be wrong. That's why we have to have a community. A word gonna get confirmed. Information must be validated. Information must be validated so we can know it's accurate. That's why my actions and my talk must be together. I don't mind telling you I'm not a billions and millions of, but I'm an average Joe like you living a regular life. I'm not no, I'm calling out for the millions, yeah. But the millions ain't even for ego. The millions for me is family, building community, things like that. And it's not something I'm gonna flaunt. That's a security violation. As a man, you should know that. I don't think it's masculine to flaunt your money. And that's also very true. Let's talk about that. I want to get into that. Hold on, before I go there, I want to go back to what I was saying about women. A lot of men, which I'll have to understand is this, and nobody has really delved into it with love. And I'm gonna give my disclaimer and say this: a black woman has never done me wrong. I love black women. What I'm finna say, it ain't pandering. It's called being this is the vulnerability you should get. Is how I really feel about you, and I need to respond through my action. Black women have been nothing but good to me, man. What? I was married for over 20 years, gave me 6 beautiful babies. Anywhere I've been professionally, black women can light a room up. Black women can bring so much character to a space. When they talk and how they act, that shit be funny as hell. But if you ain't no man, you can't handle no black woman. Because you got to take when she's being overly aggressive. You got to take when she's using verbal assault. You got to take when she's acting out with that single mama raised her to be. And it ain't that single mama fault either, because she got left by a man. Without comprehension, they don't understand what they doing. But if you dealing with a man that ain't been in a house with no man and been raised by no man, how he gonna know how to respond to you? Femininity is going to test. Black women is going to come off as aggressive, mean, harsh. She's pushing you. She's testing you. But if you don't understand how to respond to emotion, it's going to come off bad. That's what you get in the red pill. You got a lot of guys out there, you got a lot of men out there that are hurt because they hadn't really found their way to their fullness and their masculinity yet. They don't, they haven't really, see, here is the thing that has hurt us in our community. We can read, y'all really want to get into y'all like some politics a bit while we talking about it? Y'all really want to cook it up? A lot of the ideology that we have in our community, even though we say it's Democrat or left thinking, still has its roots in white feminist ideology. Because when you say patriarchy is a bad thing and you make your man your enemy, you are less likely to make it work with your man or see your man's faults, flaws, and how to get past it. And understand that you're dealing with an underdeveloped man. Men, we have this cycle going on in our community where we promote debauchery and we really stun a lot of masculine men's growth. I'm gonna get to that. I'm gonna get to Transformers and I'm gonna get to the alphabets because I'm telling you how you can destroy a community without having to do all these things that y'all think are happening. It's already happened. So if you're dealing with a man who he does not have any reference of masculinity or how to deal with a woman, if he doesn't have that, then how is he going to deal with you? He hasn't had the representation, or he may have had a father who was passive. He didn't have hard boundaries. So he doesn't really know how to respond to those emotions, or he may have been abusive. He hadn't operated in tenderness and real leadership don't coerce. Remember when I said women send choosing signals? I explained this already, singles. So, I know, we went here. But she's choosing something based off of the presence. That's leadership. I don't got to coerce you to do what I want you to do. I don't got to convince you. My presence, my purpose, my frame is going to have you going where I'm going. And sometimes she gonna act out of emotions and trip. But a lot of men that can't deal with that don't know how to respond to that, guess what happens? They freak out. They get into an emotional situation. So it's real easy to see a young 25-year-old A 27-year-old DDG could totally go off and put his hands on somebody. A young Chris Brown could totally go off and put his hands on somebody. What type of masculine representation do they have to even be dealing with a woman and understand that? And look, it's a spectrum. We all fall short. So a lot of men, again, if even if he had the father in the house and the father was passive, he don't have that example. He still may not understand how to deal with you. So women have to understand that a lot of what okay, it's like this. I'm not finna fight with an overly aggressive woman. If you show me too many times that you're gonna have compliance issues, I don't really want to deal with you. See, a lot of men don't have that because they are going to follow the sex. They want the physical part, the sex. This is why women lead with sex. A lot of women lead with sex because they think that that's what's going to keep you there. No, I'm looking for what's outside of sex. I'm looking for character. I'm looking for your cooperation. I'm looking for your communication. Where are you at skill level? Where are you? Can you comply? Can you cooperate? Can you? To what I got going on. Now look, if you don't like, let me check this old crazy message. Okay. Now this is cool. I'm gonna show this. You know, if you don't like my program, if you don't like what I got going on, then this ain't the job for you. Men have to look at what's in, you have to look at it like you are filling an important position in your life. You gotta have boundaries for her. Whoa, okay, look, this is what I got going on. This is what's happening. And be her friend. See, listen, I'm gonna set my intentions up front. This is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a wife. I'm looking like this. I would love to do that. Okay. We friends, we realize we like each other. We're gonna talk about what's going on and what we looking for. So, you set the boundaries right there. Okay, let's say you get into dating. Having sex too soon gonna be the biggest mistake that you make with her. Especially if she like it. Especially if she like having sex with. Am I cooking? I don't know. Y'all hear it. Maybe I'm just animated and y'all just. Am I cooking? I see the hearts coming through. Get the likes up. Let's get the loop. Because listen, again, in the red pill conversation, they not sharing this. It's either I hate you, I hate you, I hate you. It's this gender war, whatever the case may be. And a lot of men aren't able to learn in the process with women being around. Now, tonight's conversation is trying to do that, but they still, to me, kind of be on some extreme left or right. We're going to give the game in fullness. I'm just showing men how to be and what's worked for me. I don't have to listen. The moment I'm thinking this situation needs to get violent, that ain't the woman for you, bro. That is not the woman. So my presence, you not surrendering to the presence, you not following the leadership in my guidance. You not, that's not something that okay, well then you not for me. And let me tell y'all something else. When you understand that, you never have to disrespect a woman for not speaking back to you. Okay, she didn't speak. The one that speak, the one that's nice, listen, submission is not I don't have to coach you into that. You're going to want to do that. Now, when you're making some errors or things that I think could be egregious, we'll have a discussion and I'll correct it based off my boundary. But at the end of the day, I don't got it. That whole black women are difficult to deal with. I ain't never had a black woman that was difficult to me because I will cut your ass off. I will cut your ass. I do not. You like to argue a little too much. Okay. I'm gonna set the boundaries. Now I can give you grace if I really like you, but at the end of the day, you have to come in serving. A a man wants to be served, but you gotta give her something to serve. But see, Jamal, I'm telling you, did this okay, it was a time I was cooking. I was getting like 8,000 people. It would be crazy. And I was cooking this, and then all of a sudden, it was gone. They didn't even it never came back. Just my numbers have been, that's why I say y'all gotta like. Y'all gotta hit the like button. Y'all gotta share. Y'all gotta get in and you know what I'm saying? What's this? Hello. Nah, hey, so with like them, this ain't what we doing over here, bro. I'm sorry. Nah, we're not doing that. We talking about heterosexual love over here. No disrespect. We talking about the game between men and women. We're not doing all that other stuff. You know what I'm saying? But you're not really gonna get this information. That's why I say go ahead. Oh, I know, bro. God, that's why y'all gotta hit the like and share. And look, if I'm wrong, y'all let me know in the chat. Let me know I'm tripping. Ah, bro, I ain't never seen that. Ooh, whatever the case may be. Whatever this little Arabia thing is, I'm gonna make one of y'all a moderator pretty soon. Just give me a second. I typically let people stick around for a while before I do that. So I'm just kind of doing it on my own, getting the trolls out of here. But you have to set whatever that parameter. You should never, the woman should never be having you get out your body by anything. Now, this is what y'all have to understand, and a lot of women have to understand as men are growing, as men become over, because masculinity is a spectrum. When he's a younger man, depending on what his life's lessons have been to that point, depending on if his parents have talked to him in such a certain way, then okay, at that time he may lead with emotion because the woman is the mirror. She's gonna mirror you. That's why we look at accountability. Or listen, only I can hold her accountable in a relationship. I'm gonna hold her accountable. She ain't gonna hold herself accountable because she gonna defer to leadership. We talking about in a relationship. In the communal aspect, women typically, you may see some divisiveness now, and that's the ones that's going to be referred to as the pick me's that are agreeing with men, and the ones that are going to be combative. Now I'm going to be honest, the pick me's are who you want. When you look at these comments and you're seeing women agreeing with this, going to be the who you going from. That's what you're going to need. Why are you going for something superficial that don't, I shouldn't have to get you to do whatever. And married people gonna understand this, especially husbands, because they've been on a, either you leading or you've been passive and you learned how to lead. Or because women will challenge you. Women will challenge you. I was married over 20 years, but I subsequently got divorced. And I regret that. And I talk about that a lot on this channel. So when I talk about broken families and I say why it's not a good idea, this is rooted in a real desire to see people get past a lot of what they're going through. But I experienced it. I went through it. I just, and it's unfortunate. I'm not necessarily proud of this, but I really learned this by, I was a cheater. I was in infidelity. I was, cheating, dating multiple women while I was married. I think it's important for these guys to tell their story too. I think it's important for these people to tell you where they really got their game from. A lot of these cats ain't really got their game. See, I know a woman will sleep with a married man. A woman, listen, if she wants you, she wants you. Choosing signals, especially when that we're going back to that stability word, which you represent. I had a woman one time give me some because she said she heard me talking about being a family man. I was in the Navy 8 years. But what I want a lot of you women to understand, as men are going through that, they're going through the learning process, and you don't need to knock women who stay with those men because it don't make them any less of a man or any less of a husband. And so we got to stop this idea of we don't want to have staying power because of growth moments, or same thing with women. You may have to cut. We talking about marriage now. See, this is why it's uncomfortable. These are uncomfortable conversations for people to, when people talk about your granddaddy and the grandmama and they stayed together. Yeah, well, your aunties and uncles went to college. And they were able to purchase a home and provide for their family because ultimately they put the commitment over everything else. We're on a journey as humans. Either way it goes, we have to go through a process of learning. That's just what it is. And that's not when I'm. That's why a lot of the red pill don't lead to marriage. Red pill is talking about and all of that bullshit. That's why I could talk. That's why I can talk all the. Um. That's why I can talk about all the. Let me put my charger in here. Hold on. That's why I can talk about all the these experiences with women initially, because I mean I did that before. I did that before. I've also been the provider. I've been the sole provider. I've also been the dreamer. And I didn't work. And I thought that that was okay. No, that wasn't cool because I was like, well, I built this ego, pride. I built this. I paid for this. I did this. I paid for my own, wife to go to school. And I could just do whatever I want to do. When I'm talking transparency, I'm talking about myself. I don't have to talk about no celebrity. That's why I say I know I've been there. What? Court, child support, all that. Did that. I have all the experience in that. And you may need to go through that to be a man. It's not for her to understand that. She may not be able to. It may be you may get left because you haven't reached a level of masculinity where you can manage a marriage or a relationship. It's not her fault. If you want to be the leader, you have to take the responsibility of things. And that's the difference. That's always going to be the difference between us men and women. It's a roller coaster and you got to have endurance. You got to have endurance. So the red pill community is only because this is what y'all have to understand about the red pill community. And I'm going to keep saying this until y'all are echoing it back so I know y'all got it. And hit that like button if you just tuning in and hit that sub button. This the cooking show. I call it the charm hour, but I'm going to nickname it the cooking show because it may take me a while. But if you hear me out, it's going to make a whole bunch of sense. I be cooking on here. You just got to let me cook. Red pill community came out of the pickup artist community because this is not a knock on nobody, man. I just gotta say it like this. I'm not trying to be offensive, but like when you look at like white American shows or when you look at like white American movies, Deontay Kyle was right when he says this. Typically, it's centered around the nerdy guy trying to get the real popular girl. And the jock, he can just get the girl already. So they had to figure that out because they don't like being by themselves. They go through things like that's where the beta information come from that. And the alpha is the jock. And we see that because it's a power dynamic thing. Typically, what's going to happen? Y'all got to understand, we got the Paleolithic brain in the modern times. This brain has been around for thousands of years, and we're just into modern times. So women may look at things such as those power dynamics as provision. So she's attracted to the jock or the confident one. Typically the nerd, he's got to fix himself up. He's got to change himself. He's got to do something. And you know what I'm saying? Then he get the girl type shit. So like at the end of the day, that's what happened with like the red pill community. It was the pickup artist game. How do you pick up a chick? Well, how do you resemble the jock? What are some ways? What are some other things that women might like? Money. They like money. They like, that's the whole buying, tricking off, buying things. That's where that comes. That's beta behavior. It's like I'm just trying to give y'all, some concepts to think about as how the red pill got to where it got. So it's like, that's what happened. Then you got guys that have natural game. They might have learned the game, however they learned it, and then they understand how to, you know, they understand. I'm reading that comment down there. You said that's one way to look at it. Also, reinforcement and validation. I forgot what that was into, but you can lead with those things and buying like alcohol for them and all of that and getting them to they'll like you temperamentally. That's why you'll see some men, they got a whole bunch of money and they got a real beautiful woman, but as soon as they catch a break or something like that, the woman will leave because she's not really into that. You know what I'm saying? Versus a man who's confident and she desires him, she's fueled off desire, she's gonna treat that man different. He's not gonna have to go through, you see that in their movie. So that whole pickup artist, you got a guy that got that naturally. He understands how to spit the game. Then he teach other guys, hey, this is what she looking for. Hey, this is how you gotta be. That's where the red pill discussion really came out of. There's a book called The Rational Male by Rollo Tomasi. Go read the book. Men and women alike. Y'all, I mean, y'all should go read the book because it actually talks a lot about what I'm saying. And I read that book. And when I read that book, it was like, oh shit, my life has come to light because I've experienced this. It's called The Rational Male by Rollo Tomasi. I don't just Google it, it'll come up. You know, I'm like, I've experienced this. I've experienced what he's talking about. And a very few men, you got to understand this too. Very few men in the dating world have had these experiences because women don't like every single man. They only like a certain type. They like a few. Most of y'all like a certain type of man. So when you think about that, that gets into your red pill. The red pill information is telling you about that and the gender dynamics and whatever the case may be. Now, depending on where a man falls, again, you got some of these guys like a fresh and fit. They want to get up there and berate women. Well, they were like the uncool guys. They was uncool. They really probably ain't getting no women like that. So they gotta, berate her because they know the women are there to get paid and get liquor and whatever else. And so they just try to berate her and like make themselves seem supreme. Nah, that ain't play at all. Because there's no feeling like a woman just wanting to be with you. Now you got those guys in there too. You got some guys that are just overly confident and they've had, they can kind of just do women any kind of way. And for whatever reason, you got that going on in there too. It's very rare that you have men who just telling you how the game go, man. And just telling you how it is. And you gotta be, again, we going back to being yourself. You gotta be yourself. So red pill is just, that it has not crossed over into where are you, once you went through all of that, whatever the case may be, because it's a spectrum, and you get to become the confident man. You're the confident man because of experiences that you've had. You have learned how to overcome things. You know where you're going. You know what kind of job you want, what your career path is going to be. You're just locked into that. You go on your journey, and then guess what? You get the woman that can accompany, because women are everywhere. Where men are putting, Kevin Samuel said this, and it's very true. Where men are building, women will be there. It's just what it is. And you got to go with the ones that want you. Now, again, I think out of the entire community, Kevin Samuels was spot on with a lot of the things that he said. You got to understand something too. I'm going to give y'all some more game. I really want to get y'all this. When you date a multiple amount of women, especially if you're doing it like in a rotation style. So let's say you got about 2 or 3 women that you're dating. And this is called spinning plates. Okay? You got 3 women you're dating. Whether you're doing it with them or not, that's on you. But when you get to the intimate parts of them and you talk and you hear them out, you'll know if you're dating a multiple amount of women, a real player can tell you that a lot of women typically think the same. I know y'all don't want to hear that. Women kind of typically, now there are nuances, and whatever that one nuance thing is about you that's most attractive, that can get you picked up on. For me, it's going to be some character things, it's whatever, we'll get into that, but most of y'all are saying a lot of the same things. That's how I'm able to come and say, oh, women will do this. Or I know they're doing this through my experience because I'm questioning as I'm learning. Why is she doing that? Why is she acting like that? I ask questions. The one thing that a man that you need to do is you need to get to know her. Am I giving y'all something worth it, man? Man, that's why I'm called a charm guy. You said the charisma is a hell of a drug to the opposite, man. I'm the charm guy. A woman gave me that name. A woman gave me that name. Sure did. I had this issue. I was like, why is it when I'm talking business or whatever the case may be, people say I'm selling things to them? It's like I was offending them. Or sometimes people tell me, oh, you speak so well. It's cool. I'm like, damn, don't we all talk? But not everybody got charisma. So we was chilling one day and I'm kind of venting to her and letting her know, you know, that's kind of weird to me. What does that mean? She said, you're charming. You're very charming. You're a charm god. It was like a light pow, went off. I was like, oh shit, I'm the charm god. What? I'm the charm god. You right. Kept it ever since. But I later on told God that, hey man, I gotta use these powers for good. I don't want to use it for bad. I don't want to be doing bad stuff. I want to help people with the information that I learned, and it comes in through the gender dynamics when we talk about it. A lot of women, especially as it pertains to black women, man, there's a lot of good sisters out there, man. You just can't lie to her, and you gotta let her know what your real intentions are. If you just want to be a friend, be a friend, and you gotta understand that if you're gonna have casual, intimate relations with her, that's potentially problematic. If you're not gonna be with her, because I no women, listen, I don't care what they tell you, and this is my experience, and I know a lot of other brothers have experienced this. Many of them, when you're a certain type of man and you having relations with them, so to speak, they can't handle that because a woman is expecting you to give her maximum covering after you have had intimacy with her. And if you're not doing that and you're just playing with her and leading her on, you can create a volatile situation. That's what DDG in right now. Yeah, hey, she will go sleep with somebody you know just to make you feel bad. You got to be prepared for that. You have to be prepared for that. She will sleep with somebody that you know. Man, hold on. I gotta get my charge up. You ain't know that? You ain't know that? She will sleep with somebody that you know to make you feel bad, bruh. So you gotta mentally be prepared for that. But you put yourself in that situation when you was playing games with her. You know why you was playing games with her? Because you wasn't telling her the truth. How you gonna be a man and you can't tell the truth? You scared of her? You scared of what she gonna say? Then why you doing it? You gotta tell her the truth, whatever the case may be. Go where you say you going. Do what you say you doing. We gotta have ultimate amount of trust around here because once you get outside of the boundary that I set, then I gotta say something. And then I gotta start saying, okay, hey, look, I gotta make some corrections right there. That's just what it is. A lot of men are super emotional, man. A lot of guys are super emotional. That's why you see so much in the red pill. You see a lot of bitch behavior. It's a lot of emotions in there. They be really emotional about what these women think. I really don't care. If you give me, like I said, if you give me too much attitude, if I just don't like the way you rock, if you argue too much, that's probably a problem for me. I'm gonna set my intentions on what I'm looking for too. I'm gonna read some of these comments, man. I've been cooking. I think you can try a woman, but you know how to hit them with the facts, and sometimes they not used to the. You said you care. That's your problem. Um, Listen. It's okay. It's okay to care. It's just you gotta understand who's for you. You gotta understand the type of woman that's for you. It's okay to care. There's no problem in caring, but she has to be able to care too. She got to care about the unit. She can't just be problematic, and then you got to be able to say no. You got to be able to say no. You can't sit there and allow everything. You can't allow everything. You got to be able to say no. You got to have some boundaries. That's why, listen, Ain't no real man arguing about what you gonna wear. You know why? Because if you respect me, you not finna wear that. Yeah, you ain't finna wear that. And that's good that you take care of your woman. You got to take care of your woman. And look, any man that chooses the right woman, he gonna want to take care of her. That's just what it is. You know, again, a man appreciates when a woman is not combative, a woman is cooperative, and a woman is doing what you ask of her. That's beautiful to a man. He would want to take care of you. And of course, he has to give you something to do that too, or do that for. But that's how I know a lot of women of a certain age, if they single, I pretty much know why. I pretty much know why. All women ain't having tough time with men. If you 37, 38, 39, 40, and you single, that tells me more than likely you're problematic somewhere. You problematic somewhere because some man should have chosen you. I mean, everything outside of you being maybe a widow or something wild like that, for the most part, I know that it's something really odd about you if you hadn't gotten married by a certain time and you ain't got no kids. No, you're not even my type of thing. And if you don't even like kids, so you're not even a nurturer, why would I be with you? Y'all hit that like button when y'all come on in, man. Y'all hit that like button and throw 50K in the chat. We got a 50,000 sub campaign going on at the channel. Why? Because we need to be having conversations like this. And like and share and sub. Because YouTube, look, they ain't trying to, they bringing a little traffic tonight, though. That's why y'all matter. Everybody matters. Even if it's 5, 10 people in here, it don't matter. The conversation is good. When she was young, though, she said exactly what you was saying about she would sleep with a man that hurt you. My wife told me at one point she would sleep with my cousin and I lost it. She was trying to hurt me. Man, I hate when I'm getting them phone calls. Yeah, she'll try to hurt you. A woman can't physically fight you, so they gonna try to say something to hurt your feelings. That's what they do. They gonna say something to hurt your feelings. She can't physically beat you up. She can't physically beat you up, or even if they go out and perform the act. But what you got to remember is this. So this whole conversation that they were having when they were talking about, let me also break down some other concepts for y'all. When they talk about the man being the prize, um, it sounds bad without full context. But what it really means is a very valuable man who can offer a large amount of provision or the right amount of provision, who is stable, is a commodity. And a woman without a man isn't really stable. She's not really a commodity. If she's not an asset, then she's a loss. That's what that means. So, as a man, if you are able to cover, protect, be stable, and provide, you are a commodity. A woman has to come into that and multiply it. If she can't, then she's a liability. She's going to be an issue. That's why the whole who's a prize thing matters. Oh, well, it doesn't really matter. It's out of context. It's an issue if you don't understand. Because a man can, you know, replace easy because of what he provides. There's always somebody in need. There's always a woman in need. Nobody's really trying to provide for a grown man. It's only if that's happening, that's going to be limited a time, and it could potentially be a low quality woman who's doing that. Because good women have boundaries too. A good woman, it it doesn't mean she's being combative if she has boundaries. And if you're a real leader and you respect boundaries, then that's cool. Now, if it's something that it doesn't really agree with you, or it might be tearing up your boundary space or whatever, then you need to kind of say that at some point, and then y'all figure it out from there. But a good woman's gonna have boundaries. And let's kind of get over this thing that women aren't, that don't know, they don't know what they doing when they young. A lot of women do know what they're doing when they're very young because they know right or wrong. Women without guidance, even when in their youth or a father around, they will do mischievous things. But the thing that doesn't change between an adolescent woman, an adolescent girl, and a grown woman is they're gonna always defer to leadership. If it's not your leadership, then it's some external source. It could be their friends. They're gonna be blaming somebody, and that's not a bad thing. That's just what they naturally do. That doesn't make them bad. That doesn't take away from the goodness of them or anything like that, because they're multipliers. You got to give them something to multiply. If you have a very, whatever you're doing, if it's a good thing, they're going to multiply it. They have kids, they can help you build a legacy. Women are very helpful when you treat them right, but you got to pick the right one. And you can't play with her. See, Red Pill was supposed to put accountability back on men too. It's supposed to put the accountability back on you, because you have to know that it's all about you. That's not egotistical. It's egotistical when you misuse that and do what they be doing. You know, listen, man, I don't want no woman that I gotta work too hard for, baby. You gotta like the program. Do you like the program? Well, you can stay. You don't like the program, I'm not tripping about it. You ain't for me. I'm not trying to misuse any of this information to get out here and take over somebody's mind and all that other stuff. That's one of the issues with pimping. Pimping is comprised of a lot of this information, but it misuses it for perverted reasons. That's why a lot of times in our community with black men, see, I posed this question. I said, and now, we just chopping it up, y'all. I'm appreciate y'all for sticking around. And I'm glad that y'all in on the conversation too. Um, Let me read these comments, man. I was gonna make a point, but I'm sorry, y'all. I ain't read no comments. Y'all down here killing it. Yes, men gotta lead by example, not control. Man, it's crazy how you repeating exactly the thing we all saying in our group. Cause you amongst wise men, y'all saying this, y'all understand the game. Yeah, men gotta lead by example. You don't coerce. You don't have to. Man, it's gonna sound funny and it's gonna sound like I'm making shit up. I swear I'm not. If I can be honest and tell you who I am, I'm a blue collar average guy, then I can tell you this. I can count on one hand how many times I've asked for a number from a woman. I'm trying to think, you know. I mean, now let's say it's a DM situation. I knew her through somebody and she might DM me. We get to talking, and what I typically do is give my number. You said who? Oh yeah, okay, hold on. In fact, wait. I'm finna make him a mod. And man, if anybody want to be a mod that I've been seeing consistently, I just throw a wrench down there because I got a lot of mods. But like I say, since YouTube and playing with my numbers, I don't know if they got the notifications, but they do come through sometimes, so y'all will see other people. But as a man, you definitely got to lead by example. You got to lead by example. You can't coerce nothing. Like I said, I've never asked for phone. It's always been me, and I know how to make conversation. And if she wasn't for me, hey, now have I had stuff that seemed like it wasn't a go? It wasn't a go. It just wasn't a go. It's all good. You build up confidence over time by dealing with, what I'm saying, you know, different women or whatever the case may be. But you definitely got to lead by example. Women are mirrors of what you're doing at the end of the day. Women mirror what you do. You know what I'm saying? So, hey man, look, I appreciate y'all for rocking. I'm glad y'all set notifications. I'm glad y'all liking the information. I'm finna, yeah, all right, bruh. I'm finna make him a moderator. Um, we're gonna throw Jamal in the mix too, man. So if y'all ever in here, y'all can help me get the information out. Man, we got to get the word out. I'm gonna cut this up into clips. Y'all gonna see it. Man, y'all share, y'all get this information out. If it's in a group, you gotta, hey man, y'all need to check out bro and see invite them dudes here. We have to build a community of men that's not all on that red pill shit, that's not all on some simp soft shit, but just on masculinity, bruh. We can all be, we done all been through it. You know, we can all share our information and our knowledge and show what masculinity is really like. But we gonna be real with the women in here too. We not finna pander. I don't do no pandering. I don't do no pandering. I don't know if Singles Q&A still in here. She probably left. She can't, cause she probably thought it was some red pill jive. And then she came, she seen what I was kicking. Like, oh, you kicking some real information. I'm kicking real information. Cause that's what we seeing. But man, I'm getting out of here.